All right, what's up, guys? I just wanted to make a video trying to answer some of the questions that people have with Ruetoo and Ventrua's Detonate Dead CoC Inquisitor build. There's quite a bit of questions in the comments and people frustrated and things like that, which I get some of it, but some things are just kind of they give you an answer and they're not really explained why or how it works. So I'll try and go over a couple of those things. I want to say off the bat, this build actually is very strong. I League started it, and some background on me. I'm not some crazy expert on PoE. I'm a casual. I've been playing since Bestiary League, but I have a family. I have a full-time job. I don't get to put in 100 hours at League start, things like that. I play very casually. Right now my Inquisitor's only level 82. Besides a couple of things, with this build, which Ventrua talks about, it's a little weird, it's a little funky to get it going. It's been very strong, and I'm super happy with it. And I can't wait to see how far I can push it. But so let's go to YouTube and kind of find some questions here and just kind of answer them. So you can even see here, before I played this build, I even asked him, do we have to do the Spectre tech every session, or is it just once for the whole league and you're good? And he replied back, you just do it once per character. So so you can see I had questions, but as I played it now, I started to understand it, and I've kind of looked up a couple of things here. So what I like to do is, sort by who's first. Okay, this guy asks Flask automation. I'm not really sure what this is about. He's saying he's seen people not automating their flasks. I don't know. I'm just going with it. Everything eventually for me is going to have use when charges reach full. So I'm not sure what's going on with that one. The FPS struggles. Yeah, I have the Void MTX forum. I have dynamic culling enabled. I haven't had any issues, but I do have a pretty high-end PC. So that I'm not sure. This guy says he used Vulkan instead of DirectX, and that kind of helped. So, okay. One big thing here is the POB notes. So actually before that, let's talk about what I like to do with any build that I ever play. When I pretty much always follow a build guide every single league, and I do the same thing. I will have the POB itself, and then what I like to do is I save another copy, and then like right now, I save it and I just put me, and then what I do is I go and I import my character in that POB. But what this does is this allows me to have the exact same configurations that they have on their build. And the ones in red means they don't apply to my build right now for the most part. Like I don't chill, I don't have any of this right now. So I can see, oh, okay, so I'm missing this. And I'll go, okay, well, is the enemy on brittle ground? Why don't I have brittle ground? What's going on? And I'll find out. Okay, I'll go items. I'm pretty sure it's because of the boots drops brittle ground. I'm like, oh, okay. So it helps me understand where I'm at versus where the build is telling me I should be, and I can see the differences. So right off the bat, that's what I like to do. So my character's in there with all the same settings that they have, and I can just look at the differences. So one thing that I see a lot of people see is they're like, hey, on Detonate Dead, my effective trigger rate is nowhere close to what you have. So if you look here, mine says 0.99, and on Ventrua's POB, it says 7.42. It's like, what the heck is going on? That's a huge difference. So we can start off with that. So if you go to Lancing Steel, his says this is like the settings for that skill. There's two options: single projectile hit or calculate it with all projectiles hitting. So on mine, if I go to Lancing Steel, we'll see it's on single. I switch it to all projectiles hit, and then I go back to Detonate Dead, and we'll see that I'm at 6.72, which is way closer to what he has in his POB. So that's the one right there. Don't be freaked out. I saw that too, and I was like, what the heck was going on? It took me like an hour. I was messing around, and then I finally found that answer. So I know that was one that someone had. So let's talk about Spectres real quick. So a lot of people are asking, why do we need 5 Spectres? And how does that work? So, and if you just go to If you just go to the PoE wiki, type in Desecrate, they don't really explain fully. This is what I was talking about. They just say, here's what happens, and they don't explain why. So, the character remembers a number of monsters capped by their Spectre limit, even after the skill gem is removed. Each corpse has a 15% chance of guaranteeing a Spectre corpse. The remaining 85% are chosen randomly. They may still be Spectres, meaning the chance of randomly selecting a Spectre corpse can be improved by saving multiple different Spectres. So I was like, that still makes absolute zero sense to me. How does saving multiple different versions increase the chance if each corpse, regardless, has a 15% chance of guaranteeing a Spectre corpse? So you see here, they have references down here, and there's 3 things where people talk about it. So I'll just kind of TLDR all that. What happens is you'll have 5 corpses. When you desecrate, you have a 15% chance of spawning one of those 5 corpses that you have. Now, what happens is when you summon that Spectre, it now adds it to the pool of mobs in that map, because that's how it works. Desecrate, it's either 50% chance of spawning a Spectre or spawning a corpse in that from that area. And when it spawns one of your Spectre corpses, it adds it to that area's pool. So let's say you desecrate 5 times, and each of those 5 times you happen to summon all 5 of your corpses. Now all 5 of those are added into the area's pool of corpses, and that is how you increase that chance. Now it's still, I mean, if it's a corpse with a ton of different corpses, then the chance is still kind of lowish, but it does improve it. But if it's an area like Maven or someplace where there's not a lot of corpses, you've now added 5 of your corpses in an area that may only have 3. So now you have 5 out of 8 chances of summoning your corpse that you want with a lot of HP. So that's how that works. I don't know if I explained that very well, but essentially it just, each different corpse you have in your pool, every time you spawn that one, it adds it into the pool of that area. That's how it's actually increasing it. It's not that you have 5 and every time you hit desecrate, it has a chance of summoning more at once. It's just that every time it does, it adds it to the overall pool that you can summon in that map or that area. So I know that was a big one. And then also with corpses, people are worried about the cap and all that stuff. And how does it work when you get your Spectre limit, and do you have to have them all summoned at once, blah, blah, blah? No. So what you need to do is you need to equip the Void Eye Ring that he talked about. Equip the Void Eye Ring, put a level 20 Spectre in it, Spectre gem in it, that raises it to 25. And then with your 2 weapons that give +1/+1, you now have a Spectre limit of 5. The way it works is it always remembers the last 5 different Spectre corpses you've summoned, or up into your cap if you have a higher cap, whatever it may be. But it remembers that last number, which for us is 5. So you go through and you just need to summon those different 5. You need to go raise Spectre those different 5, and you'll fill up that cap. So you just keep the gear on. You can go to each area. If they die, it doesn't matter. It still remembers it, adds it to that. So if your cap is 5, you summon 1, it puts it in that it takes up 1 spot. So you have 4 remaining. You go to another area, you raise Spectre on that one, it puts it into another slot, and it does it up till 5. If you accidentally summon the wrong Spectre, you didn't just break your character for the league. It's fine. You just have to start over. It's like a first in, first out kind of thing. Just go start from the beginning again, or just like if you mess up on your second summon, do the other 3 and then do the last 2. It's just, you just got to push it out. It's like a stack. You just got to push it out of the way. You can always fix that. So, okay. Let's see what else we have here. I know someone was asking about power charges. You get that from max qualitying your Assassin's Mark. That helps you with your power charges. In the tree, I forget where it's at. Yeah, we'll put this in here. This will help us get endurance charges, although I'm already getting them in game at the moment. I forget how. But once you get the build swapped over, you should be essentially getting all 3. Although it's not like permanent uptime, it's still up there for the most part. So let's see. Was wondering why we have Desecrate in the CoC link and in the Arcanist brand. So I haven't gotten this far. The only thing I assume is that just to have more corpses around to explode, and then maybe also if you're in a boss, you throw on that Arcanist brand and it's just desecrating. It probably gets your 5 corpses into that pool quicker. So you ramp up your damage faster. Maybe something like that. Just more corpses around. I don't know. That's my assumption on that. Let's see. One thing I also saw is people saying, "Oh, this build is bait," or they're having a lot of issues. He did specify in the beginning that this build is pretty hard, pretty difficult to get into, especially if you're newer. You have to follow the notes. You really need to watch the video. This is not one. I assume those people. There were a couple people that were really pissed off. I assume they probably didn't watch the video or read the notes. Days before league start, I watched the video multiple times. I read these notes multiple times. I even kind of changed it to help more, to organize it a little bit more. That's easier to read at a glance. But if you're having any problem swapping it, it's really this section right here. So when I got to level 41, which is where in his skills here, 41 to swap. So at 41, it's like, okay, we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be here until we're ready to swap. So I got to this area with these items and the skills and all that. And then from that point on, I just sat there until I got all of these things. So, and people are farming Merc Lab, trying to get the transfigure gems. Honestly, I did it a couple times. I got lucky and got my detonate dead of chain reaction pretty early on from just the random one. But I had a couple chaos sitting around. So I just bought the Lancing Steel. It wasn't that expensive. So really all I had to do was just get 20 quality from labs. I would try to buy these as much as possible. I think farming it yourself is mostly for solo southbound, things like that. But then again, I also did just get really lucky. I think it was like 6 runs, and I happened to get a detonate dead of chain reaction on the random one. Just got super lucky. But you should have Desecrate at level 15 by the time you even get to this point. The 5 link with Energy Shield Evasion, I just bought that super cheap. I think it was like 3 chaos, 5 link, and then I just typed in 150 ES. Diamond Flash, same thing. I bought it super cheap, like 3 chaos. Weapon with increased critical chance and attack speed, same thing. I just went to PoE trade and I typed in one-handed sword with I think I actually went for 7 crit instead of 7.5, but and 1.6 attack speed. So if we look in game, you'll see that's pretty much what I got. Okay, so we're going to run a map here. I will post a link to the POB so you can see my character at the state of running this. It's nothing crazy at all. Just follow the POB. I have some pretty crap gear from, just what I found during the campaign. I'm in like white maps. I think that, this is a yellow map. This is going to be like the highest tier map that I've done at this point. So yeah, build's pretty solid. If you feel like you're not doing enough damage or your Desecrate and Detonate Dead aren't going off, just check your crit chance. Make sure you have the cooldown recovery rate, and make sure before you swap, you go through those notes and you check off every single one of the steps that he has there, and don't swap before then. I did exactly that, and this is what you're seeing here. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not by any means in game doing anything crazy, but it's pretty smooth. Every now and then you run out of flasks and you don't seem to crit. It can get a little wonky, but it still feels great for the most part. I just move around, dash around, keep my flasks up, and right click. That's like all I do. I don't really mess with any of the corpse stuff right now. I kind of just leave those because I have no idea. No idea how to really mess with any of that. I've tried crafting a couple things and they're all just garbage. Yeah, as you can see, I have the Void MTX. Although I have read some things where GGG has improved it a little bit. You know, just turn on dynamic culling, and even without the MTX, you should be fine. So yeah, just dashing around. I feel moderately tanky. Now I've done some ultimatives up to round 10 through the campaign in some of these early maps, and I was never really in jeopardy of dying. I'm not playing hardcore, it's softcore, but the only time I even came close to dying was when I wasn't paying attention and I got froze. But outside of that, I just kept moving around. Damage was there, survivability's there. I actually feel pretty tanky. I've played a lot more squishier classes, and this build after swapping has allowed me to rip through the campaign faster than I've ever been able to in some of these early maps. I would typically struggle with just having enough damage, but not with this one. But like you said in the video, it takes a little bit to get it going. You got to know what you're doing. So if it's not feeling good for you, or it's not it's not performing as you're seeing in this clip here, then I just suggest going back through the Ventrua's POB and his video and just not skipping around. Just go from front to end and see if there's anything you're missing. Pretty sure my stat-wise, well here's the boss. So you'll see I kind of just stand here and I hold right-click, and he just melts. Pop the flasks. You can see his HP just disappearing. You'll see in the POB I post, I think I just have like res capped. I have like 0 chaos res. I think with flasks up, it's like 70% chance to crit. I only have like 93% chance to hit. I don't have hits can't be evaded. I have the 3 dragons unique. I have the unique ring that gives like 50% damage on a consecrated ground. And since we're an Inquisitor, we pretty much always have that, even when we're moving. And the gear is nothing crazy whatsoever. I think my boots are like the best pair of gear I have. But yeah, so as you can see, the build feels great to me. So I see other people having issues, and I'm not sure if they just skipped a crucial step, or what's going on. So hopefully I was able to answer a couple of these things for you, or give you more of an understanding, especially with the corpses and things like that. So just if you have any other questions, just feel free to hit me up, and I'll try to answer you, or leave a comment on Ventrua's guide as well. So yep. All right, see ya.